Good morning, Paleo Keepers, and welcome back to Prehistoric Kingdom. Today we've got something a bit different. Usually I do make an enclosure for an animal, but as it stands right now, I've pretty much made an enclosure for every creature in this game. So I thought I may as well start building an actual park, which I actually want to look like a park, keep the theming very similar, and just have a mess around and do things myself in a sense of like a whole park. So you can see right now in the background, I am making the entrance, which I really wanted to keep simple. I do love some of those zoos where they have like a really simple, like, there's a ticket booth with a weird roof on it. They'll probably do a shop on the side a little bit later, or another video, in other words. And just have this really nice simple entrance. I know some zoos have like full-on buildings where they have all their offices and things like this, but I really do like those really simple like entrances. So that's what I've gone and done. I've made this one right here, or making this one right here, and just add in like little bits of features like a drain and gutter to make it look like it's somewhat real in a sense. But yeah, the first enclosure I'm going to be making today will be for the Pachyrhinosaurus, as I absolutely love that ceratopsian and it looks great in this game. And the kind of theme I'm going to go for really is to try and make it look a bit like Prehistoric Park. I do love the wooden log fences, and it was like beams. It was like a square beam, and then it was just wood logs in between that square, and that was your fencing, which was nice. It's simple. It had easy supports, so that's the idea I'm going to go for. I did add a few little snack machines inside the entrance because I feel like that's something you'd see, like a few snacks, or the 20p machines, as it were. Well, you see, I was just sort of getting this stuff ready to make this fence, and then started putting it together, resizing everything so it fits in a little bit, and every now and then just kept looking back to my little source picture that I had of the prehistoric park fence, and just sort of went for my own coloured wood. I was going to make it look similar at first, and I was like, actually no, I quite like the dark stain on it. It makes it stand out, the frame, and then the logs have them a little bit darker rather than lighter. And then I just sort of also made some wood stick out where I'm going to be attaching the supports for the fence, and I didn't want it the same size as the main frame because I didn't want it to take away too much from the frame, so you can still see the frames there as well as having these supports. And originally I was going to have it on the animal side, but then I was like, it doesn't make sense because if they knock over, like break the supports, and the fence would come down easy. Not that that actually happens to your custom made fences. I was just applying a little bit of realism in my head, and then I use this like a few like logs that I've made smaller, put rope on it as like a standoff barrier for guests, and this will be my kind of standard fencing for this entire park build. It might change here and there for different creatures, but any of your larger creatures, this is going to be the fencing I use. And like kind of like when I get round to adding a mammoth, because I definitely want a mammoth in here in this zoo, it makes me think, like, do I do like the fencing that they kept their mammoth in, where it's quite short? It just seems a little bit terrifying in a way that they keep a mammoth with such easy breakable like fencing. I mean, to be honest, even this, like, knowing the force of the ceratopsians, like, I really don't think a log fence would keep them in. And I do use a few different things in this build. I've decided I also want to use some like aspects I have found in workshop that I really like the look of, as well as some of the preset stuff. For example, this is one I found on the workshop by Magnanimous Matt, I think I said that right. And I really like the river netting. It looked really cool, and it's like kind of a barrier so they can't get into the lake, but there's a bit of lake there for them to drink from or bathe in. So I really like that, and I definitely wanted to add it myself. I mean, I looked at it, I could make one myself, but I was like, why? When you got the workshop, there's so much stuff you can use in the workshop. Yeah, sometimes it's fun to make your own things, but sometimes you don't always have that kind of spare time, and you want to have fun on the game, but not spend like hours agonizing making like a little bit there, or especially let's say you're not too sure where to start, using workshop items is the best thing ever. Like, it's the reason why I put all my builds in the workshop, so for anyone that doesn't really want to have to sit there and make their own thing, they can just literally go on the workshop, subscribe to a few different items and place them in their park and just enjoy the dinosaurs from the get-go. So I will be sort of like showcasing different things I find in the workshop that I feel like will fit or I find useful for some of my builds that I don't really want to spend too much time making, and that was just a perfect example. And as well, you already have stuff in the game that the devs have made, like that viewing little area over there, and I feel like it fits in with this kind of theming, and you'll probably see me use it a fair bit more, and I might even make my own viewing galleries just for when I want something a little bit different myself, or if I find something really cool in the workshop, maybe on that as well. So right now I'm making a very simple house for the Pachyrhinosaurus, and I wanted like I don't know what it's called. I'm guessing you just call it concrete fence. Like, it's literally like you get your fence posts and then there's these massive concrete slides. Now there's been a few like new builds in my area where I have seen them like make this and then have like a bit of a wooden top above the concrete panels. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to turn that into my idea for a shed for these Pachyrhinosaurus to get shelter in. I say shed, I should have said shelter. And that's the theming I went for it, and I just kind of sort of like, these is going to be like the main modern looking thing in this build. Obviously we're going for like that prehistoric park kind of look with this build, but I do want the slight bits of like modernness going in there, and this is what I came up with. I was really happy with it at the end. It was very simple, but it was very custom as well. It feels like it sort of fits in with the enclosure, and it was nice, simply sort of placed in there for them. As well, I made them a scratching post. It'd be kind of cool if it did a scratching post enrichment future on in the game. But yeah, I made my own. They can't use it, but it still looks cool in there. Has a bit of storytelling to this paddock, and I know it's a bit small for them. I might go back and make it a little bit bigger, but other than that, I'm really happy with this. It was just nice watching them move around this enclosure, and that viewing point that fits in, I feel, gets you a nice unobstructed view of the enclosure when you're not having to look through the wooden fence, and they look absolutely great. Like, I absolutely love the design of these creatures in this game, and probably one of my favorites other than the Styracosaurus. But anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this and it's giving you some inspiration. If you have something you would like to see in this park that you've made yourself and put in the workshop, let me know in the comments, and then put like a link to that workshop item. And if I like it, I will definitely add it to this park and also give you the mention and shout out. But anyways, yes, this is my new little thing that I'll be doing for Prehistoric Kingdom till new creatures get added to the game, and I hope you've really enjoyed it, and I'd love to hear what you thought about this. Is there anything you would do different? But yeah, again, thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.